beautiful people. This is Ubuntu and welcome to WomanWizer. This is the podcast where we dive into all aspects of life and we truly connect on what really matters. And I may be alone on your screen right now, but trust me when I say you guys out there are my co-hosts. Yes, you. I want this to be a conversation, a safe space where we can talk about any and everything. I'm talking money, I'm talking sex, marriage, relationships, the list goes on. The reason why I wanted to do this really is to connect with my audience. I know I've got quite a fan base out there and I love you all dearly, and I just thought I could give a piece of myself to you guys and get a piece back. Really get the conversation going, create a sort of relationship, that is just more than the social media swiping and liking of pics and here and there. You know what I mean? So I really hope that you guys will tag along on this journey, really interact. I'm talking about giving me your comments, giving me your POVs on the topics that we're going to be talking about here on this channel. I really want to get to know you guys, all right? So I just thought that today we'd dive straight into it. This is the first episode. So why not talk about money, guys? The thing that has got us all waking up every single day, stressing about, these randellas. We are forever chasing them. But yeah, I think it's time for me to dive into my experience with money. We're going to be talking about financial literacy, black tax, the list goes on. I keep saying, but in the list bitunana. So without any further ado, I think let's hop right into it. Okay, I think let me just give you guys a background when it comes to my financial life, I started working at quite a young age, a relatively young age. I've always been someone who understood money, but from afar. Like I never spent it, I spent my mom's money, but not any of my own. So I started working at the age of 18. Yeah, at the age of 18, while I was still in high school, but on the weekends, kanye school holidays, descends a low odd job. And then I got this amazing deal and I was working there all through first year as well. Now, I appreciate and I'm very grateful for that journey, do not get me wrong. But Sana, we were not getting paid much. It did, though, give me an idea on how I can better myself financially when it comes to planning, budgeting, seeing what I can or can't afford, those kind of things. But like I said, it didn't give me the greater foresight into what responsibilities lay ahead in adulting. But anywho, so yes, I had that job, and with that little salary, I was able to dive into the things we're going to talk about today. And the first of all is financial literacy. Yeah, what is money? Why is money? When is money? How is money? That's what I think of when I think of financial literacy. And I have to be honest, I'm still going on that journey. I haven't clocked it all yet. I haven't figured it out all yet. It is something that I am slowly piecing together as I work. Let me just break it down for you, what happens for me in a month. So let's make it cute. Let's say I get maybe 20,000 Rand a month. So it comes into my bank account, that day. It ding, ding, ding. You are rejoicing. You are having the time of your life because you just got paid. But adulting comes through, like I said, and you have to structure lo mali. So I know that I've got responsibilities, right? I've got a vehicle. I used to pay rent, before I stayed with my partner. And, there's groceries that also have to come into play. The list goes on. So I had to take 20,000 and divide it and split it accordingly. And by the end of low budgeting, I'd maybe be left with 2,000, maybe, on a good month. And I'm like, Hima, I have to go out. I have to buy clothes. I have to have a good time. Kale 2,000? No. Something must be all right. So then I had to take a step back and go, okay, mhlambi ndimo wrong. Maybe I'm living way above my means. You know what I mean? And honestly, I was. I really, really was. It got to a point where I had to backtrack a bit. I had to stop renting where I was renting. I had to really make tough choices about my finances because I was realizing that the way I was moving, it wasn't getting me rather to the place that I wanted to go. And I think it's so important to have goals, financial goals for yourself, because you will find yourself in this rut or this cycle where you're going from hand to mouth every month. And izinto that you wanted, you're still thinking, I'll get them when I'm older, I'll get them when I'm older. Uzoba older, and then what? You know what I mean? You won't have anything to speak of when you look at your life. So I had to really wake up, pull my socks a little bit, and it was tough. It's tough saying no to groove. You know that Friday when the temperature's just right, everyone is in a good mood. It's about to go down at 86, But you have to say, nah, basically, I'm 40, so the 1 + 1 is not 2ing at the moment. Speaking of maths, then there's girl maths. Oh, guys, my budgeting has come a long way, to say the least, because girl math was my thing. If, for example, a balance rather, had odd numbers, or it ended like with a 211 or a 647, best believe la 11 rand is free. Best believe la 47 rand does not have an allocated place. I can swipe my airtime, I can buy my ice cream. Mind you, I had not budgeted for low ice cream or low data or low airtime. And I think it's also about being that rigid with yourself. Making sure that every cent that you have is allocated to a place, even when it's miscellaneous. And miscellaneous game was a low ice cream that you want, or low data, somewhere down the road. And it's about being disciplined with yourself. And I had to stop the girl maths. Just like that, I had to stop it. It was tough. Now I'm adult mathing. So, like I said, when I budget my months now, I am no longer owing myself from the month before, because that was also a struggle that I had before. By the time the new month came, I knew I was owing myself at least 500 rand, because there was an outing that I'd went to that I had not budgeted in that previous month, and I had to go back and be like, I'll make sure that I cover it for next month. And then by the time that month is starting, I'm already on some sort of a deficit, So I had to stop all of that. It was definitely difficult. And I think also surrounding yourself with people who understand the kind of journey that you want to go on, who are also like-minded. You're not fun, or you only live once, that are going to leave you in a financial rut. Do better. I'm not even trying to shumayela. I'm just saying I've been there, trust me. And I'm just so happy to be surrounded by abantu ichomi that know how to have fun on a budget, for example. Sometimes you don't got to do a lot. You don't got to do too much. One of my other weaknesses when it came to budgeting was also not following through. So I would have a budget, like I said, low 20,000, I'd have every cent allocated for, right? And then when it hit my 15, 16 of the month, sana ndilahle pha lo app, because I'd use the app on my phone, right, to budget everything. Ndilahle pha lo app and sayijongi. So xa ngizoswipe bese ngicimele, I'm just like, ding. It's gone now. It is what it is. I did need it. I'm always sort of validating the choices that I've been making throughout the month. And by the time we're hitting the 25th, 26th of the month, now I'm clueless again. Where did my money go? So I think also being financially honest is a big thing, because you have a goal, you know where you want to go. And it's about making those small little changes or small little habits while your money is still cute, that will really set you apart from the rest and also make you achieve those goals. So yes, when it comes to budgeting, you really got to have that financial honesty between, otherwise you're going to keep financially lying to yourself. All right, next on the agenda is investing. Now, yabona lena, it's easier said than done. We hear it all the time in banking. Investing. You gotta invest. Invest and only 2,000 at the end of the month after you've budgeted. What am I investing? But I had to sit down with myself once again and be like, Buntu, you're thinking about this all wrong. Like they do with tithes at church, 30% mntasekhaya. So you think 30%, even if the percentage is 0.5%, it's still something. So that's where I was, saving at least $100 and investing it somewhere, right? And then obviously when life hits you and something's in the way, unayo lo mali just hanging around to sort of help you out. But then I realized, man, I don't think I'm at that financial place where I can even be doing that. Because the corner isn't just dingayo, you know? So how I chose to start investing is through my assets, right? So as a performer, as someone who is seen and socializes often, I was like, you must actually invest in your appearance. Ne? So I was that person, Tengi wigs, because I usually do my own hair, but those are braids. Let me invest. Tangy wigs, you're buying quality outfits that you can mix and match and go to a different premiere in, as well as what? Yes, I think that's the main thing. Oh, the makeup, of course, because I think also looking after your skin and just looking after your whole body is an essential thing. Now, gym, I think, is also an investment when it comes to my career. So I was viewing it like that and not necessarily as expenses, because it was also frustrating knowing that I'm someone who is not doing what they should be doing, as the ads are saying, I'm not investing. But when I took a step back, I'm like, you're judging yourself a bit too much. Jonga man, you are someone that is in the spotlight that needs to be looking good whenever you're out there. So this is your way of investing in yourself, girl. This is your way. So please let me know, guys, how you invest in yourself. It may not be the way the banks or the adverts are letting us know, but let me know bana wena u investa kanjani. All right, it could be. I don't want to give you guys ideas. You guys will let me know. All right, so we also have creating good habits, right? And I found that it is quite tricky, but when you start implementing it, it can be second nature, So I'd put reminders on my phone. I would do a cash system. It's just more difficult now when you have a phone that taps everywhere. But I used to be that person, but okay, tonight, I'm only going to use 200 Rand. To copy cash, and I know that when that money is finished, that money's finished. We're not getting brave. We're not doing any YOLOing that night. And it actually worked for a while, but like I said, everywhere we go. So that became a little more difficult. But by the time that I really implemented those small habits, it was more easier to have restraint when it came to tapping a phone in yam. You know what I mean? And then I think also creating memories is also very important. We live in a country that has an intense groove culture. And don't get me wrong, I love it. I personally love it. It keeps the country happy, as long as we do it responsibly. And but I think there also is value in trips, more wholesome experiences, ones that can be logged into your memory. And you can just look back and go, but that was a great, great experience. Obviously, in a more responsible way. On a trip to Thailand because your mates are going. And I'm speaking from experience because my friends are definitely going to Thailand next year. And I just said, you know what? And I'm 40, so let me take a step back. But Lord knows, oh my goodness, how I would love to go on that trip. But I'm not there yet right now, And when I will be, I will definitely go. And Gamandi gets a shower short left up in South Africa. Zininzi indawo ezinhle that I can definitely still visit on a cuter budget, a more demure budget. And then we move on to something that, if I'm honest, it kind of frustrates me, and for no posisa, the different ways of acquiring money, And I think it's even gone beyond industry, I'm an actress, but we all know that we see our favorite actresses doing work on social media, being influencers. We see them now on our radios. We see them doing many, many things in many different areas. And you just have to diversify, as a freelancer. It's the reality of the game. But I'm finding that it actually could be true in many other industries as well, because this economy is tough. The world is expensive. So anyway, kule industry like I'm saying, I'm realizing that I really have to diversify. Acting is not enough. And why I say it's frustrating, it's because ndifuna uact mna, I just want to show my talents to the world, if that makes sense, and be adequately compensated for it. Is that too much to ask? Is that too much to ask for? Really? Apparently it is. But it's a very hard pill to swallow, one that I'm still learning to do. I know I have many other talents, ndienda majorisha directing as well in varsity. So that's also something that I'd love to venture into in the upcoming years. And I'm all for young women sort of putting their feet out there in the arts in many other aspects, because power to us, power to the woman. But yeah, please let me know what you guys would actually love to venture into. Mhlambi ewe wafunda BCom, but you love photography, for example. Let me know how that's working out for you, how you're able to diversify in your field. I know it's a very tough one to do, but side hustles become the main thing these days, so I'd love to hear about your guys' ones. Another thing that I want to speak about is how my mother also has affected the way I've looked at this little subtopic specifically and at the different ways of acquiring imali. She's someone who's like, Mdanam, you do not want to waste your life. You do not want to be that person, yes, I could have done this, I could have done that while I still had the energy. And she has a really good point, It doesn't take away the frustration behind it, but it's something that I'm really leaning into. She loves the IT. There's been this new craze now about IT and Bitcoin this and investing that. I'm like, Mama, I don't even know the A, the B, or the C's of that. But I think it's about taking that step back. I can actually acquire more knowledge, gain more skills in other totally different areas to what you are focused on in sort of pursuit of making more money. Yeah. Because it does rule the world unfortunately. Our next point is dealing with gender inequalities in terms of payment. Now, I have a little fun story time for Lena. So I don't know why I'm laughing because it's actually quite serious. So, right, I had 2 colleagues that I was working with when I was on this gig, right? We had a great relationship. We were really enjoying what we were doing. But then this one day, we decided to have a conversation about imali, And I'm realizing that it's actually a conversation that a lot of companies are like, we don't want our employees talking about that. Don't be discussing that. Don't be doing that. Because that's going to leave that conversation not so happy. So that person happened to be me in this instance. They're talking about, hi man, hey, we really deserve to be getting more, honestly, if we're being honest. Yeah, I don't even know what they're talking about. I'm not the most experienced right now. I'm still starting off in my career. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I feel you guys' pain, And then they disclose what they're actually getting. Before you want to disclose. And it shook me. What do you mean? Wapinda. Watch you add right? And I'm like, wait, like over a couple of months? What do you know, per month? But can you see how low it is? When I tell you my brain short-circuited, I'm sorry, what? What? Because I was getting a fraction of that. A fraction. So I'm going, okay, now let me at least share. I'm like, no, guys, but I'm getting this much. So what do you guys mean? The room went quiet for a while because they looked like some ungrateful people. And it just dawned on me that, damn, okay, there really do be some pay gaps when it comes to working. And it was a hard pill to swallow in that moment because without hearing that information, I wasn't necessarily happy, but I was okay. I just knew this is the nature of the game. Okay, for I'm compensated this much. But then to hear what they were getting for the exact same work, it really, really mind-boggled me. And it made me realize that there's the surface, where everyone is here smiling at each other. Then there are things happening, and you might not always be privy to that information. So I think it's just about knowing your worth, always trying to push the envelope when it comes to discussing a payment. Also doing your research, seeing what's out there, because obviously ukwazi uthetha ne-colleagues zakho, right, when you're in that space. Sometimes you're actually contractually obligated not to speak about that. But in this field or in this company, in that company, kupatwala like this, so Nama should be expecting roughly that amount, I wish I knew looking back. But once I got that piece of information, I knew then how to maneuver going forward and how to enter discussions when it came to my contract renewal, right? And it really did help me in that regard. I could have never gotten to their level, but at least bendiyazi bana andizuthatha peanuts ngoku xa kuzonyuswa i-payment yam. Do you understand? So that was just a doozy woozy. And I know there are some people out there who've had similar experiences to mine. So I want to know, Bana, what was your mind-boggling situation? What do you mean? What do you mean by cookie gap engakayana? And sometimes it happens that someone is in a lower position than you are and they're getting paid more just because they happen to be of the opposite sex. So please let me know of your experiences. I want to know about that. Sivente, yabo. Safe space. Safe space. And we come to the big old saving. You see, saving, I really put it aside to investment because saving, there's many reasons as to why you'd save, right? So you're saving for a low trip, or you're saving for a low week, or you're just saving for a rainy day. And I think that all three of those things, for example, can occur in 1 month. So how does one navigate that? And I think from now, I had to start prioritizing what I considered important, especially in my time frame of my life. So I'm like, okay, I'm a young lady. I'm trying to establish myself. I'm trying to ground myself so that I'm not just taking any gig willy-nilly as well, because I'm career and be someone that is held up high in that regard. So I need to know that I can fall back on myself if things get a bit tough. But with that being said, kunzima. Kunzima, guys, because to even start off with, it becomes really difficult to do low saving, 20%, for example, of your salary, And when you're up against the wall like that, it does become very difficult to make smarter financial decisions. And I have to be honest, I'm still learning. There are some months where I've saved nothing. There are some periods in my life where there are no savings. I've lived off my savings for a couple of months and I'm running out. And it does get dark sometimes. Panic, My mother taught me to be very independent and I'm very grateful for that. But there are times when it's just not XYZing and you don't know how you're going to make ends meet. I'm very, very fortunate to have met my partner and for us to be growing, building that solid financial foundation, having that financial literacy flowing through open communication when it comes to imali as well. But it's not to say that agunzimanga because it really, really is. So I think in that regard, I am curious to know, Bana, how I could save better. Maybe you guys have tricks out there that have you guys saving. I know abanye bantu save coins. So whenever bane chinchi ba save coins, and those are often overlooked so often. So they just end up building up, and then so only 2,000, just from 5 rand coins. So I'm open to any suggestions, guys, bani nazo, because in the saving department, And it's leading us to our last topic, black tax. I think let's just give a moment of silence for the topic because, Thank you. I want to black tax between. We are going to free ourselves from those shackles, and very soon, I feel. Very, very soon. I think one thing that we are excelling in as a youth these days is being more financially aware. We might not be making the best decisions, and I'm just using myself as an example, but we are more aware and we are moving forward. I think our parents can attest to the fact that mhlambi sikhulile, on top of what they've already built. We're at ages now where they didn't have the stuff that we have. So that's a good sign, but we're moving in the right direction. But Iona Ise Kona black tax. And I may not be speaking from experience when it comes to this one because I've been raised by umama that's a very proud woman. And in her being like that, she's taught me that there's a sort out as long as wena ukwazi usort out now that you're an adult, you know. And I'm grateful for that because I know that you know, in making sure that I'm okay. And it's something that I would also want to pass on to my children, especially my daughters. But right, because we're right when, you know, because I really think that it does weigh heavy on people's shoulders. And I don't even think it's just black people, you know. I think a lot of people of color, some white families have a strain on their families and on their children because maybe the economy is just not on their side. COVID did a number on a lot of businesses, for example. So that's also another hard hit that affects a lot of families. So black tax is something that it's very evident, it's very prevalent up in South Africa. But like I'm saying, I think we can get out of that dark area. But I do want to speak about ones that I've heard about. I have a couple of friends who've spoken freely about it. As most like with safe space, and they're okay with me sharing this information, by the way. Yeah, so I'm not gossiping, I promise. So one of my friends, he's an older brother, and he just always felt it upon himself to be the man of the house, you know, grew up with a single mother, younger brother, and he just felt it upon himself, and I need to take care of the household. And I think that black tax and that guilt weighs heavy on him because it's not his first. Whatever's left becomes his, but the bulk of the payment is, you know, dedicated to looking after umamake, dedicated to making sure ubudwake has all the stuff that he maybe wants, you know, so that he is not found lacking in the way that he was, you know. And I think it's just so, it's admirable, of course, because he's making sure that umamake uraiti, that his older brother is okay. And I think that's where the next generation will come through his brother, and hopefully he'll be able to break low cycle you know, and not pass it on to his children. But in the same breath, it's so unfortunate because you find that ngalimali that he's being paid each month, he could have grown exponentially, gone off to do amazing things, bigger things that he's doing now. Not that he's not doing amazing things, but way bigger things than he's doing now. But because imali yake has to start somewhere else, efemilini, before it gets to him, I think has really stunted his financial growth. And it's just a reality, like I said, that a lot of us are facing, you know. And I think it's one that we have to all sit down, maybe as a family, and really reassess. Because that we can restructure, make sure that, okay, maybe instead of our child going to private school, maybe they can go to public school, so that we're able to manage our finances a bit better, having those uncomfortable conversations, so that Nogo Umdana is able to thrive and have a better chance of succeeding and doing whatever they want to do. You know what I mean? But please do let me know of your experiences of black tax. I know this is, it's a tough one, but please feel free to just share. And this is no disrespect to the parents, obviously, that are at the receiving end, because like I'm saying, the economy sometimes is not always on our side, and times are tough. So it only makes sense when, as a family, we help one another. So yeah, guys, that has been money. Yaiva. So these are the kind of topics that I want us to really dive into when it comes to the podcast, Betunana. Really talk about the difficult stuff. I'm hoping that you guys got a piece of knowledge when it comes to my financial history and the kind of person I am when it comes to money. The key takeaways here is that I'm trying, okay? Just know that I am trying. But just 1 million zeza, guys, zeza in my close future. I receive. And I hope that you guys are receiving that good energy as well. All we gotta do is believe, work hard, and And that has been the episode on money, Betuna and Timba. You guys learned a few things about me and maybe got some piece of advice for your own life when it comes to money. And Chiloke guys, I'm dating no advice. So please feel free to share your thoughts about the different topics that we touched on today on social media. Let's get that conversation going because the Chilomos, these are co-hosts up. You understand? So yes, guys, this is Ubuntu and you guys have been watching WomanWizer. Signing out.